What is up, Top Shot Nation? Very excited as we are wrapping up the end of Series 2. I am honored to be joined by one of the top rookies of the 2020-2021 season, Tyrese Haliburton, an avid Top Shot collector himself. Tyrese, how you doing? How's your offseason treating you?
Man, everything's been good for me this way. Just working out every day and collecting NFTs. That's what I've been on. So yeah, it's good to be back. Good to talk to you some more.
Yeah. So since we last left off, Kings have been busy adding Davion Mitchell, national champion last year. He's going to join a loaded backcourt with you and De'Aaron Fox. Talk to me a little bit about your excitement to add a competitor like him to your team.
Yeah, I think people were surprised with the fact that we drafted another guard. But I see the value in bringing in guys that compete and see the value in bringing in guys that win. You know what I'm saying? Davion, in his 2 years at Baylor, I don't know how many games he lost, but I can tell you it wasn't a lot. You know what I'm saying? And to bring in guys like myself, like-minded, who just want to win, want to help change the path of this organization, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to come in, be willing to defend, do what it takes to win games. So I'm really excited to have him, join us, as well as our second-round pick, Nemias Keita, the first Portuguese player in the NBA. So, that's really cool for him. And just be with these guys. I think I've had a pretty good rookie. I had a pretty good rookie year. So my goal is just to help them and make it as smooth as possible for those guys.
Absolutely. And my understanding is you got to Hawaii. You've been getting into NFTs, as you mentioned. You now have some Bored Ape money. How's kind of the off season differ now that you know what being a pro is like? Have you been able to unwind and enjoy kind of the downtime a little more this off season?
Yeah, for sure. Just, last summer I was getting ready for the draft, so I didn't really know what to expect. This has created, some more relaxing time. It's not like I'm moving anywhere. Like I'm at my house. I'm in Sacramento. So, if I'm not at the gym, I'm just here chilling with my family and, playing Nintendo Switch, playing Mario Party, doing a lot of different things, just enjoying family time, enjoying being able to go to different places in Sacramento because I couldn't previously because of, COVID and everything. So it's been really nice to do some different things and kind of unwind a little bit before the season starts back here very soon.
Absolutely. And really excited to have you on. Obviously, you mentioned it. You had a pretty good, I think you're underselling it a little bit. You had an awesome rookie season, all rookie first team. But you weren't alone. This was an iconic draft class. I think going into the draft year, people were a little down on your class, but you guys showed out. You guys came to ball from day one, and a bunch of superstars of tomorrow coming from this draft class. So excited to have you on so we could break down some of the best rookie moments from this season. And I think no better place to start than with a guy that was a total unknown coming into this draft class, Alexander Pokusevski, one of Sam Presti's projects in Oklahoma City. And with Poku, we saw from day one, oh, this guy's got some interesting skills. He's 7 feet. Talk to me a little bit about his game.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting because, through my 2 years in college, I kind of became an analytical darling, you could say so, where, analytic has really loved, my numbers and things like that. So, with Poku, kind of just reading people talking about the upcoming draft, they kept talking about this guy who was really efficient and kind of had a uniqueness to him, that was, I think if KP didn't already have the nickname, they'd probably call this guy a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? So, it was really interesting to see him because I had no clue who he was coming into the year. But, I think he can do a lot of different things. And, along with a lot of us rookies, just has a bright future in this league.
He might be the only NBA player that is skinnier than myself. Very excited to see what he does in Oklahoma City. They've had an interesting kind of rebuild there. They didn't get lucky with the lottery, but adding Josh Giddey to a team with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, obviously Pokusevski and Lu Dort, that is a young core that could be interesting one day. We've got another Pokusevski moment here. We saw the length on the defensive end, but what I think tantalizes scouts is his dynamic offensive ability for a guy of his size. This is just breaking down the defense, man.
Yeah, just a smart guy. I think That's kind of the thought, is that guys that come from Europe really know how to play, immediately, really have a good feel for the game, really understand the game well. And I think that's, obviously a great read right there. Sees him over playing the handoff and kind of keeps it for himself. So, yeah, he can do a lot of different things. He's very versatile, can handle, can pass it, can shoot it. Just does a lot of different things well.
And now what makes rookie moments special on Top Shot is, well, they're obviously distinguished by their rookie badge. But for some rookies, and we'll get to the next one here on our list, and this is a guy that you're friendly with, from my understanding, Devin Vasel. This moment is actually his first career basket from his first career game. This is what we call a 3-star rookie. And Vasel was someone I was very high on coming out of the draft. You mentioned analytics, darlings, low usage, high efficiency. What do you see from his game?
I think Dev does a lot of different things. One thing about him is he went to Florida State. I think Leonard Hamilton, one of the most slept on coaches in college basketball today, but in the history of college basketball, he's had a lot of success with players lately, with Dev and Pat and Trent Forrest and Utah, just a lot of guys that know how to play the game the right way. So, I think Dev brings a lot of different things to the table. I think he's got a lot of defensive versatility to guard in multiple positions. I think he's kind of what, you want in today's game, in the sense of a 3-and-D guy. Very similar, I think, could be very similar to a guy like, Mikal Bridges or somebody like that. That's kind of like the modern 3-and-D of today's game.
Absolutely. I think too many times when we're talking about the draft, teams get in the mindset of, I need to get the superstar. And sometimes they overlook what getting a double on the board would look like. And Devin Vasel, as you mentioned, some of the other Florida State guys, obviously Scotty Barnes this year, Jonathan Isaac a couple of years back. These guys come into the league and they bring defensive intensity from day one. And Vasel can get up there too, joining a nice young Spurs core that is, I guess, headlined by Keldon Johnson, who's playing with Team USA over in Tokyo right now.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Moving along here, just mentioned the Orlando Magic. They have Jonathan Isaac, another the guy that they got. This was 2 draft classes ago, but made his rookie start this year after coming back from injury. Chuma Okeke, a good rookie season for Orlando, proving to be kind of a 3-and-D guy from day one. And if the Auburn days are any indication, the guy can be a problem on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, the unfortunate injury in the tournament kind of led people to not really know much about him. You know what I'm saying? Coming into the year, when he started playing, it was like some guys didn't even know, kind of who he was, just because he had been hurt for a whole year. And they're like, oh, he's a rookie, but he didn't get drafted. So it was just, a lot of people didn't really know much about him, but obviously had a very great college career, had a great run in the NCAA tournament. That's kind of catapulted him, and it's going to help him, be a part of this, Orlando core, now adding Jalen Suggs with RJ and Cole. And, they got a lot of young guys that are ready to go. So, I think he's a great fit. And as time goes on, he's getting back from injury, coming back to, playing at 100% and, getting back to what he was, before he got hurt. And, obviously, as you can see here, he can be very good.
Yeah, Andre Drummond wanted no piece of that. That's Okeke at his finest. And again, the first moment we showed the 3-pointer in the corner, that was from Chuma Okeke's debut game in the NBA. And when we talk about moments, we're talking about redefining what it means to be a fan and to connect with your favorite players, your favorite teams. So owning these moments from players' rookie seasons, you can say you were part of their day one crew, right? When you get a moment from a rookie debut game, that moment will always be that first moment from that player's career. And I think there's something really special about that, especially for the players themselves. We'll get to your 3-star rookie moment as we progress through here. Moving along, KJ Martin, this is the first rare moment we're seeing from the throwdown set. KJ Martin, obviously great lineage with Kenyon Martin, his father, number 1 pick in the 2000 NBA draft. And KJ can get up too, man.
Yeah, he's got some crazy bounce, man. Obviously, noticed through, high school mixtapes and things like that from, how good he was in high school, the bounce he had in high school. It's obviously translated very well to the NBA. He's very springy, a guy that can really help Houston as they're, in the midst of a rebuild.
Absolutely. And maybe not as bouncy as KJ Martin, but another big man that came into the league this year and immediately made an impact. Xavier Tillman with the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm a Michigan State Spartans fan, so I was very high on him throughout college. Reunited with his college teammate Jaren Jackson Jr. in Memphis, and Tillman, one of the best rebounders and rim protectors in the league. This moment, 3-star rookie from his debut game. Not many players get to throw it down like that in their debut. You played against Memphis a few times. What did you see from Xavier Tillman out there?
I think he just plays the right way. Another guy that statistically is very efficient, a guy that knows how to play the game, going somewhere like Michigan State where, they teach guys the right way to play basketball. Coach Izzo and the staff there do a really good job. So he really knows what he's doing. And obviously a very mature guy that handles himself really well. And I think he's got a good future because he just plays so hard, and that fits well with, kind of the identity of that Memphis team, how hard he plays, and that's going to allow him to be on the floor with Ja and those guys.
Absolutely, and he can throw it down too. I mentioned not as bouncy as KJ Martin. Here he is to remind me I'm plenty bouncy myself, throwing it down. Man, Memphis has some really good young big men, from Jaren Jackson to Xavier Tillman to Brandon Clark. These guys are bouncy, they're dynamic, and they can shoot.
Yeah, for sure. They just do a lot of different things.
Moving along here, we've got another rookie from Oklahoma City, another international, Theo Maledon. This is his 3-star rookie from his debut game against the Charlotte Hornets. What did you see from Maledon this year?
Yeah, I think with, Shea being hurt for most of the year, it just allowed him to go out there, play free, be able to make mistakes and still move on from them. And I think that's going to help him, as we go on, because there's no better teacher than experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to allow him to, be better as time goes on. As obviously OKC is in the midst of a rebuild themselves. So anytime you can get young guys that know how to play the right way and want to win, it'll help.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we progress here, we got one more Maledon moment. He came in, and for the first week of his season, it seemed like he was a little overwhelmed. But here he is later on in the year, and he is crossing up Cole Anthony, hitting a buzzer beater. This is a metallic gold moment from Maledon that I think will stay with him for a long time as maybe the signature moment from his rookie year.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving along here, we've got Tyrese Maxi. This is a guy that I think is going to be a problem for a long time, and it's just a matter of time before he has more opportunities in Philly. Another 3-star rookie. This is from his debut against the Wizards, laying it in. Maxi and yourself, you were often kind of in the same discussion of teams considering you in the draft. Great loaded point guard class that you came into the league with. What do you see from Maxi, and where do you think his next step is in his progression?
Yeah, I mean, Tyrese is my guy. We're the only 2 Tyreses in NBA history, so I think we're linked. We're linked through that. But he can do a lot of different things really good. He can really score the ball, and I think with Philadelphia's kind of lack of a point guard right now, I think that he could come in and really help. With given the opportunity, when he was given the opportunity throughout the season, I thought he really took advantage of it. It was really hooping. So I'm looking forward to see what year 2 has for him, because, I think he's a really good player.
Absolutely. I saw him drop, I think it was like 34 points on Michigan State early on in his college career. And
right.
I was just sold from there. Like, Kentucky has too much of a lineage with good guards, and, not all of those good guards came out of the gate in the NBA as stars. So I'm very bullish on Maxi's future. I think he's going to be a problem for years to come, and he competes on the defensive end. So not often you get a rookie that is as talented a scorer and as explosive as he is, but still brings it on the defensive end like he does. Moving along here, Jaden McDaniels. This was a guy coming out of high school. People thought he could go number 1 in the draft potentially. And at Washington, it wasn't necessarily the perfect fit, didn't show him and show off his skill set in the best light. But here he was as a rookie with the Timberwolves. This moment from his debut, showing the range. Jaden McDaniels, a very interesting, another guy you could maybe classify as a unicorn, just tremendous length.
Yeah, for sure. I actually own this moment. It's funny you said this, because after we played Minnesota I was like, I went on Top Shot, and I was like, I'm getting his moment. I think he could be really good because he's got the length to guard so many different positions. Again, another guy that's very similar to. I keep bringing up Mikal Bridges because I think that's the modern day 3-and-D, but I think Jaden could do a really good job of defending. He can guard a lot of different positions, and that's going to allow them, guys like Ant, and take the pressure off those guys to guard and allow those guys to, be rested to go score and help the team win. So I think he does a lot of different things really good. And him and Okoji together are two really good defenders that really help Minnesota. So I really like his game. It was a moment that I went and picked up as soon as we played them.
Let's play this one more time because another thing about this moment that I love, and sorry, studio, I know I'm throwing a wrench in the plan, but another thing about this moment that I love is it's just like Jaden McDaniels, I think, is like 19 years old. Look who's guarding him, Jared Dudley. This is just like two different generations of the NBA colliding, and Dudley's like, I can't keep up with him. Let's switch that. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Let's move along because he's got another great moment. I think we got one more Jaden McDaniels. This is on me. Sorry, studio. Moving along to this Jaden McDaniels. You mentioned another Mikal Bridges type 3-and-D. He's got a ton of length, and here's the athleticism, blowing by Taj Gibson and flushing it home.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, just so versatile, can do a lot of different things really well. I think his defensive versatility overshadows how good of an offensive player he is because that's what's asked of him right now. But trust me, he's got a lot in that bag.
Absolutely. Moving along here, we've got a guy that another point guard from your class that showed out in college, Peyton Pritchard, and he's quickly become a fan favorite with the Celtics. Another 3-star rookie here.
Yeah, just a workhorse, man. Just somebody who people didn't really expect to, get to the NBA and have success, and a guy who obviously had a ton of success in college that, that translated right to the NBA and allowed him to help Boston and, like you said, become a fan favorite just because people can resonate with, how hard he works. And he looks just like, he looks like just anybody, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't look the part of, a 6'6" built guy, he looks like a normal dude, and he just goes out there and competes, and he's really nice.
He could shoot it too, man. He's got a range on range on range and good handles too to boot. So for Boston, they've got a keeper in Peyton Pritchard late in the first round. Moving along to a guy that finished second in the draft, ended up going to Golden State. And this is from the season opener in Brooklyn. James Wiseman, rookie season cut short with an injury, but the guy is brimming with potential. Another guy that you were working out with some of the teams that he was working out with. What did you see from James Wiseman this season?
Yeah, just unbelievable length. A guy that can come in and just do a lot of different things, very well. But, I think people don't understand how hard it is to be a big in – it's really hard to make that transition as a big in the NBA just because you got to learn all the reads. You're responsible for covering up a lot of defensive mistakes. And at the same time, offensively, the league is so pick and roll dominated. You could set 3-4 ball screens in a set. You know what I'm saying? And especially going somewhere like Golden State where it's not really a traditional offense. You know what I'm saying? Where Steph is, you go set a down screen. You know what I'm saying? And just got to know how to play the right way. So, I definitely think that different things that he can be really good at, it's going to take some time. Like you say, just got a ton of potential.
One of the few rookies, yourself included, that has a hollow icon moment. And this is one you were just talking about, setting screens 3 to 4 in a different set. This is why Golden State drafted him too, right? It was not a fluke. The guy is brimming with athleticism, and you can see it here. Setting screens, the gravity that Steph creates, or any of the teammates for that matter, just creates open lanes for someone like Wiseman to dip to the hole and flush it home. You mentioned it's hard for a rookie like a big man to become a presence in the NBA from day one. To make matters even harder for someone like James Wiseman, he played 6 career games at University of Memphis, right?
Yeah.
The guy is essentially a project out of high school. And I think that there's a big spotlight on the Warriors, a lot of high expectations this year. I would not be surprised to see him take a major step forward in year 2.
For sure.
Moving along here to one of my favorite rookies, a guy not short on confidence at all. We've got Cole Anthony with his rookie debut 3-star moment from the season opener against Miami. That is just pure Cole Anthony Nice touch. You don't see many number 50s in the league these days. I like that he wears number 50. Something about that it's just some swagger to it.
Yeah, man, Cole's hilarious. Obviously, another guy who was in the Top Shot, so we talk from time to time. But just a great dude, a lot of positivity to him. And, obviously basketball runs in his blood. So, he's built for things like this. And I think he's got a bright future in this league as well.
And one thing that Cole did that, not many players in history get to say they've done in their career, and he did it twice in his rookie year. He was a Mr. Game Winner this year. He had 2 game winners. Here's the hollow icon, just calling ISO. And this is against Kyle Anderson. No slouch on the defensive end is Kyle Anderson. Dylan Brooks as well. And he's just ISO island. Let me hit that fadeaway off-balance 3. And I don't know if you saw the post-game interview, but he was on one for that.
Yeah. Of course I seen it. Yeah, this guy's hilarious. No, of course. Yeah, he's so funny.
Just moving along here to another point guard. This guy, the elder statesman of the draft class, one of my favorite guys to watch, Facundo Campazzo. And I love watching him because he's one of the few guys with the audacity to pull off passes like this.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's nice, man. I didn't really know much about him when we played them the first time, but I think kind of the hype around him through social media, like he was good for like one of these passes every game or every couple of games, that made him so exciting to watch. But yeah, obviously he's a vet in the sense, he's a vet, you know what I'm saying, with the game of basketball. He might not have been playing in the NBA the whole time, but there's some great basketball overseas, and you see it right here, man. He's amazing. Like, some of these passes are just ridiculous.
Ty, you're a hell of a passer yourself. I don't know if you have the gall these days to make passes quite like that. In due time, you will. But when you have a top shotable assist like that, or a top shotable pass like that, and the teammate doesn't finish the shot, how devastating is that on the inside?
Nah, it's okay, because I'm sure I've messed up assists before. I always just tell my teammates, you owe me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always just have a conversation. Like, if they miss up 2 and I see him in the locker room, like, yo, you owe me. You owe me 2. Like, or I'll get you back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the conversation more so, because before I was playing in front of a ton of cameras, I was still making fancy passes and stuff. It's just they would miss them and you just got to move on. Now it just looks bad because it's on camera.
So all of the players we just highlighted were guys that got honorable mention votes for all rookie team. We're now on to part 2 of the program, where we're going to break down the 10 all rookie players. We're going to start with the second team. And the second team has some guys that I think long-term might be as good as anyone in the draft, and no better place to start than with Patrick Williams, who overnight is seemingly thrust into a high leverage situation on a team that has really high playoff aspirations this year. Talk to me a little bit about Pat Williams.
Yeah, I didn't know much about Pat, until I was recently with the select team at USA. We got to really know each other. Just a good dude, man, who really plays hard, understands his role. I think he's, like you said, just Chicago has changed overnight to a team that can really compete in the East. And, he's going to be a big part of that, as, part of that young core. But Pat can really guard a lot of different positions. Just another guy with so much defensive versatility that's attached to, with Florida State ties. Again, like I said, the guys they bring there, it's no surprise that they make the NBA because they just play the right way. So, just a guy who can do a lot of different things.
Hamilton certainly has a type. And here we are with his metallic gold moment. Patrick Williams against my Knicks, throwing it down. I think he's starting the season, now that they've traded Thad Young, I think he's starting the season as their power forward on a team that has a lot of depth. Yeah,
him or Markkanen will start at the 4. But, whether he starts or comes off the bench, he's just a guy that can guard anybody you ask him to guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I truly see him as a guy who can guard 1 to 4, sometimes not the 1, 2 to 4. If you go small ball, a guy like this can play the 5. You know what I'm saying? So, I think he can just do a lot of different things.
Now, let me ask you, obviously coming out of Iowa State, a lot of rumblings, you're going to be a lottery pick. Patrick Williams, I think at the start of the scouting draft process, he was like a fringe first rounder, and all of a sudden he's top 20 lock. All of a sudden he's a lottery lock. All of a sudden he's top 10 lock. What was that kind of like for you to see another guy in your class just shoot up the boards as kind of precipitously as he did?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know who I didn't know who Pat was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kept seeing people talk about Patrick Williams. But I'm like, I don't know who this is. Like, I've never even seen. I've never seen Florida. I haven't watched Florida State play this year, so like I didn't know who it was. But as I started to dive more in and learn more about my class, like it was pretty apparent why the jump was coming, and rightfully so.
Youngest player in the draft class, if I recall correctly, Patrick Williams. I'm excited to see what happens in year 2 with those Bulls.
For sure.
New and improved. Moving along here, another guy that is brimming with athleticism, Isaac Okoro. A lot of comparisons to Russell Westbrook coming out of the draft, just as a guy that has a tireless motor. Obviously had a lot of success in college with Chuma Okeke. But talk to me a little bit about what you saw from Okoro when you went up against the Cavs.
Yeah, just another guy, like I keep saying, just defensive versatility. You know what I mean? I think it's a big thing in today's NBA, and something that he has. When you play with a team like Cleveland that starts 2 smaller guards, with DG and Colin, to have a guy like Isaac really helps because he can guard whoever you ask him to guard. You know what I'm saying? So I think he really helps them over there, and I think he is progressing. I think what he wants to be and what he can be is another just modern day 3-and-D guy that can really guard a lot of positions. And if he consistently knocks down corner threes, wing threes, he's got the athleticism to do things that 3-and-D guys just don't do, like this. But if he can knock down the 3 consistently and he can guard, he can be around for a long time. Absolutely.
Arguably the best athlete in the rookie class. Just with the motor, he's got quite amount. He's got an impressive amount of what's the right word? Stamina, right? He can just run for 48 minutes. You don't need to worry about getting him a blow on the bench. Moving along here, we've got Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart, one of 3 rookies on the Detroit Pistons last year. Now, Cade Cunningham coming in. This is from Isaiah Stewart's rookie debut game against the Hawks with a big man rebound on John Collins and finishing with 2 hands there. Stewart, of course, second team all-rookie. What was your impression of him when you went up against him?
He just plays so hard, and I think that's what helps him is – you see right here, he's not giving up on the play. It's easy for him to just let Collins box him out, but he plays so hard. He's setting screens hard. You know what I mean? Like he's competing for 48 minutes or however long he plays. So, I like Isaiah's game a lot. Another guy that was with me with the select team. So as I got to meet him and learn more about him, I think that's made me like him more as a player.
And he was like kind of known as a somewhat old school big man. That was kind of the MO on him as a scouting report. But old school big men didn't get up like this. He's got some hops. He's athletic, as you mentioned, tireless motor. Detroit, all of a sudden, all it takes is a little lottery luck, and your franchise's fortunes can change on a dime. I'm excited to see what he does. And we will get to another one of those Detroit Pistons in due time as we work through this list. Moving along to the guy that from draft night, I was saying the most underrated prospect in the class, Desmond Bain, hitting a long-range tray in his rookie debut. Desmond Bain is a guy I couldn't for the life of me understand how he fell to 30. 3-and-D from day one. Talk to me about his game.
Yeah, so Des was in the Big 12 with me, so I know him personally from there. But yeah, just does a lot of different things. I'm pretty sure he's the all-time leading scorer at TCU or right up there. But he can just do a lot of different things and fits in well with Memphis's young core. Is again another guy who's 3-and-D, can do a lot of different things. So I think that he comes in and helps Memphis right away, and he's just going to keep getting better as the years come.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about where you are picked in the draft, but where you land, right? So number 30. But he ends up in a situation where he gets to play with John Morant, Jaren Jackson, obviously Dylan Brooks and Kyle Anderson. I think he fits in perfectly for long-term. And now they've got Zaire Williams on the way. So I'm excited to see kind of what that team looks like in 2 to 3 years when those guys mature out a little bit. Moving along to obviously a guy near and dear to my heart. You can see the Knicks hat. this was the first pick that we've made in years that on draft night, admittedly, wasn't the most excited. I think in hindsight, I gave too much credit to Tyrese Maxi in that Kentucky backcourt because Quickly is a problem, and not taking anything away from Maxi when I say that. But Quickly came in from day one, and he told the media the 3 players he tries to emulate. Number 1, Lou Williams. Number 2, Avery Bradley. Number 3, CJ McCollum. And from that day on, he just had my heart because he knew getting fouls was important, drawing fouls is important, and hitting threes is important. And what he brings to the Knicks on both the offensive and defensive end is something that I think long-term, he's a guy that I would not trade if the Knicks are trying to build. I know that they've got some opportunities, but look at this. He's got some Steph Curry in his game, just dancing around, flinging the ball up. You've guarded him. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, I think IQ is probably one of the best rookies ever when it comes to drawing fouls. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really understands angles really well, and he plays and works really hard, so fits right in with Tibbs' system. And then New York embraces him a ton, obviously. So I think I love IQ's game. Another guy, again, with me on the select team, got to know him more as I got to know him more, just liked his game more. You know what I'm saying? So just a good dude.
Absolutely. And he'll be playing alongside Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker, 2 of the best point guards of the last 20 years. So I'm sure he'll get some nice tutelage from them as they vie for playing time against each other. It will be an interesting year for the Knicks. But there you have it. That's our second team all-rookie. Moving along to our all-rookie first team. And I mentioned Desmond Bain was the steal of the draft. I think Jayshawn Tate would have something to say about that. Jayshawn Tate, all-rookie first team, despite falling in the draft. What did you see from him this year?
Yeah, again, another guy, no clue who he was. Obviously know who he is now. I think he solidified himself on a roster that, again, is in a rebuild that when he came in, people didn't know much about, but he does and plays the game the right way, and he understands he's an intelligent basketball player, and that helps him because he can guard multiple positions. I don't know if he has like a true position. Is he a 3? Is he a 4? Like, what is he a 2? Like, what is he? I don't know that answer, but he's just a basketball player who knows how to play the game the right way, can defend multiple positions. So, Jayshawn's a great player.
Houston's putting something together interesting, right? They got 4 first-rounders. It's something when Josh Christopher is the 4th of your 4 first-rounders that you've got some interesting guys on your team, and you're building around between Kevin Porter Jr. and obviously Jalen Green and Şengün, the MVP of the EuroLeague. Like, just so many interesting talents, not to mention Christian Wood, who, if not for Julius Randle, very well could have been the most improved player in the entire NBA last year. So James Harden era definitively over, but they're turning the page on something interesting for sure.
For sure.
Moving along here to the other Detroit Piston. They had 3 first-rounders. Killian Hayes was the first one taken, but Saddiq Bey, I would say, was the one that really stood out. You mentioned Mikal Bridges earlier. Saddiq Bey is a guy, just long-term, he's going to be a 3-and-D problem for years to come.
Yeah, cut from the same cloth. Another Villanova guy. A guy who knows how to play the right way and just works really hard. I think he separates himself in the sense that he can guard multiple positions, can shoot the ball really well, and that allows him to really help Detroit. And like you said, now with the addition of Cade, bringing in a great point guard like that, with a guy like this, having Isaiah already, you have Jeremy Grant's there, Killian's there. Like, they got a great young core that they can build around now. And, I think Sadiq's going to be a part of that for years to come.
Absolutely. And one of the few rookies that got a legendary hollow icon moment. This came from a game where Saddiq Bey went 7 for 7 from the perimeter, a career high 30 points. And he was just letting it fly this game. Yeah.
He won player of the week this week, didn't he? Like NBA player of the week.
He did, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's hard for a rookie to do. And, I think Cade Cunningham's going to be quite happy to come into a role where he knows he's got a guy in the corner that could just be a knockdown shooter like Saddiq.
For sure.
Moving along here to the top pick in the draft, and a guy that had quite a few top shotable moments this season. This one came from his rookie debut game. putting the spin cycle on. I believe that's Steve Mikhailuk there, and finishing strong at the cup. Anthony Edwards, obviously you guys were considered by similar teams in the draft. Edwards was a guy coming into Georgia and out of Georgia, just a total like star potential. You could see it. But this was arguably the moment of the year right here, the most top shotable moment. Look at that elevation.
Insane. It's nuts.
He's awe-inspired by himself there, looking at the Jumbotron. That moment overall, just few get better than that. And what's crazy is those two moments, right? The first one from the rookie debut game with the spin cycle, and this one, they came within 2 weeks of each other. Anthony, that just goes to show. And we're excluding from the show about 6 other Anthony Edwards top shotable moments that could easily make the top 50 plays of the year. If you're looking at just kind of the wow factor of it. But moving ahead here to the rookie of the year, Lamella Ball. This moment from his rookie debut game, his first career assist, first of many, you can presume. Maybe not the most electric assist of his career. In fact, probably the least electric, but it came at the top. What's crazy about this, a little peek under the hood, the inside top shot of it all. The only other player that was a first rounder from my knowledge that didn't score a point in their rookie debut game was Tim Hardaway Jr. That was the last time a first rounder didn't score in their rookie debut game. And we wanted top shot debut, 3-star rookie moments to be their first career basket or their first career assist. Well, LaMelo Ball in his debut game had 0 points and 2 assists. And those assists were the one you just saw with Hayward. We'll get Studio to play that. And the other was a dump pass to Cody Zeller that was goaltended. So we're in a pinch. We're trying to get a 3-star rookie a moment from LaMelo's debut game. And this was it was meant to be. It was not, it didn't set the stage for all that was to come with LaMelo, needless to say. But Tyrese, now that you know that LaMelo is who he is it almost like surprising or did you forget that he didn't score in his debut? It was kind of like, oh my God, did the Hornets just draft a total bust for a night there?
I didn't even know that happened, honestly. I definitely knew it happened like when it did, but I don't remember. So just goes to show you, like, you know, if you take care of business the right way, people aren't going to remember the bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, not many people – I don't think – if you took a poll, I don't know how many NBA people would remember that. So, yeah, obviously had a great year, you know, very deserving of the award. And, you know, another guy that's just a great player.
So that moment, we'll go to the Rising Stars next. I know we played it earlier, but so that moment, the first assist, that came on December 23rd. Just 2 weeks later, this is his first career triple-double, first of many, and comes in. He's got these layup packages that, you know, few other guys, like he's been doing this since he was like 12 years old, it seems. Just going to the rim like he's Michael Jordan, changing hands midair, second nature to a guy like him. And needless to say, he's also got a hollow icon. Studio, let's pull the hollow icon. Tyrese, if you do this in a game next season, I'll gift you your own hollow icon. Just a bravado to do a pirouette on a three-pointer like this. A few guys got that moxie.
Yeah, no, that's a tough play. That's a tough hollow icon. If I was him, I would definitely own that myself.
Absolutely. And, you know, last but certainly not least, we've gotten to yourself. Tyrese, walk me through this moment.
I definitely was going to pass this ball, and Jokic just kept backing up because I had a ton of assists in the first half. There's definitely a lob to Hassan that turned into a floater pretty quickly. But, yeah, it just felt good to get rid of the jitters. I think my actual first bucket was a free throw, but it felt good to, like, get the jitters out, get a bucket, and then just move on, you know? So, yeah, definitely a memorable moment for me.
Kobe Bryant's first bucket, also a free throw. So
yes.
you got that in common. And
right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I would just love to hear, like, we've talked about it a little bit in the past, but for you, at what point, was it in Summer League, was it in the preseason, that you had the jitters, obviously, because it's your first games as a professional. But at what point were you like, okay, I got this. I'm actually pretty good at this sport?
Pretty early in the regular season, I would say. Honestly, that game. I mean, after that, we played more superstars. I think we played the Suns after that, so playing CP for the first time, definitely jitters. But early in the year, like we played Chicago. Fox had got hurt in the first half, so I kind of had to take over point guard duties for the rest of the night. And I really settled in, had a really good game. And after that, it was kind of like, okay, like, yeah, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I belong. So around there, towards the end of the year, then when I start playing other superstars for the first time, it was more so just like, all right, we're just playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? But early, it was definitely like, and every night, like, man, I'm in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? It was still crazy.
Love it. Yeah, it's like straight out of 2K, right? My career. Moving along here to your Hollow icon. This is a challenge reward. You mentioned this is your white whale. This is one that you're still trying to chase after and own one day. This is the game winner. Walk me through this moment.
Yeah, I mean, so going into halftime was, trying to get a quick one. I think we're just trying to get the ball up as fast as we can, and there was just so much commotion. I just crossed court, which was kind of like, I think in my head and everybody else's head, it was like, yo, what is he doing right now? I'm just like, all right, I got to get this up. Like you see, I bring the double from Bam and, made it, just ran out the court. But nah, yeah, it's my grail that I have yet to get in the Top Shot game. But I'll get there. Don't worry, I'll get it.
Yeah, I love that moment for a bunch of reasons. Very emblematic of the 2020-21 season. We'll play it one more time. Just a few things that stand out to me. Well, obviously, you got Miami Vice jerseys, which were a little extra this year. They went a step further than they had in the past. You've got the empty crowd. It's COVID, but you got some fans there. So we're just starting to see the tail end of COVID and people coming back in. And I misspoke earlier. Of course, not the game winner. It was the buzzer beater at the half. But the last part of this that really stands out to me, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, both in the frame. These are two of the best defenders in history. Jimmy at the bottom of the screen there. And you're hitting these threes. This is like, you talked about the jitters early in the season. This is definitively no more jitters. This is we're looking at the end of January. January 30th was when this moment happened. So, just a special one for you, and excited to commemorate it as a Hollow icon. You are a part of that esteemed group. I think there were only 5 or 6 rookies this year that got the Hollow icon, and you were one of those 6, and finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting. Rookie, all rookie first team. Just plenty to be proud of as a rookie, and on to bigger and better as a sophomore, leading your team with De'Aaron and Davion and Buddy and Harris. You guys are. I'll be disappointed if I don't see you guys in at least the play-in game this year.
Yeah, no, I'll be disappointed too. The goal is the playoffs, so that's what we're working for. We worked all summer for it, so just putting it together as the year goes on.
First free agency question here: which teams have caught your eye? Which teams have done things that you say, okay?
Chicago, obviously, adding DeRozan, adding Lonzo. I think they just got really good, really fast. Vucevic, probably the most underappreciated player in the NBA. So you got those 5. Caruso, Kobe White. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a great core over there. So I think Chicago has probably had the best offseason. But Miami, they've quickly turned into just a super gritty, tough team. You know what I'm saying? Like if you start a group of projected, let's just say Kyle Lowry, Duncan, Jimmy, Bam, and then let's just say they start PJ at the 4. Like you're really guarded. You know what I mean? Like Duncan, a guy who knocked out shots, but is a serviceable defender, can guard people. Then you got 4 guys that could really lock up. You know what I'm saying? And they'll switch everything. That's what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Then you have Tyler off the bench and these guys off the bench that are ready to go. So Miami had a great offseason. Then LA obviously has had a good offseason as well. People they're old, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? They still got some of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. LeBron's there, Carmelo's there, Russell Westbrook is there. Like AD is there. If they're healthy, they can. Man, they'll be good. So I think those are 3 teams that have had really good off seasons.
The Lakers have certainly put themselves in that conversation of, if you got all of those players in their prime, what would be the best singular team ever? Like there's obviously like the big 3 Celtics come to mind. Then a couple of years later, the Celtics added Shaq. There were a few Cavs teams there that had like D Wade and Rose and, just crazy amounts of talent. This Lakers team, Dwight, we didn't touch on yet. Dwight's going to go down as a Hall of Famer.
Dwight back, yeah.
I think obviously a different type of player, different class of player, but Malik Monk, I don't think we've seen the last of him as a serviceable rotation guy. I'll be interested to see how they fill out the rest of this roster. I do have to say, though, they're going to miss Alex Caruso. I think there's a little bit of a underappreciation for the grit that he brought and the defense that he brought to that team.
For sure. And they brought back my guy, THT. Shout out to my boy, Taylor.
That's right.
They were saying that people were trying to say he should go back to school after our freshman year. And now he's got, millions of reasons to say why he didn't. So, I'm really excited for him and excited to see how this progresses for him.
Now, Ty, one question I've had is like, you mentioned Lonzo Ball. We talked about a bunch of the 3-and-D guys. Caruso, I'd put in that camp. I'd also put you in that camp. The guys that just don't need the ball in their hands at all to be super effective on the floor on both ends. And was that something that you understood to be super valuable from a young age? I think it's like, as analytics has kind of caught up, it's become clear low usage guys that can do it all is like market inefficiency. But for you as a player, as you're progressing, as you're training, how early in the process was that apparent to you that could be your niche and that could be your kind of differentiating factor?
Yeah, so just going into my freshman year at Iowa State, I think playing time was kind of nobody really knew. You know what I mean? I came as a 3-star guy, didn't really know if I was going to play or whatever. So I was really just trying to do whatever I could to play because growing up, I always had the ball in my hands at all times. From 4th grade to senior year of high school, the ball was always in my hands. I was playing the whole games all the time, So I got to college. It was like, I got to do whatever I have to do to be on the floor. So it was my first time not playing point guard. So I had to be off the ball and just learn, how to do that the right way, how to still affect the game, make my presence felt, make plays, make timely shots and things like that. So I think my freshman year at Iowa State really catapulted me to kind of know how to be on the floor without the ball and affect the game the same way. So, I think I could credit a lot of that to, my freshman year at Iowa State.
Yeah, I think you and Lonzo are very similar in the sense that like nominally very much could be point guards, positionally might as well be 3s, right? Like you can guard pretty much any position on the other end. You've got the size, you've got the length, and I think like the NBA is only gonna to find more and more value for guys like you because it's much harder to be someone like you that, as you mentioned, goes from being a focal point of the offense every possession in high school to finding the pecking order and being able to play alongside guys. We've seen it time and time again. There are guys that just are not as comfortable in the number 2 role, the number 3 role, and that's kind of led to faster kind of declines in their careers than guys that have, like Vince Carter did it like masterfully, right? Vince went from star to reserve, and it was just a very natural progression. Appreciate you, man. I know it's a Friday night, so thanks for taking the time. I'll be out in Vegas, so excited to see you there.
For sure. I'm at the kiosk. I'm getting all the moments. I'm getting all 10 every day.
Oh man, I think that'll be fire. And I think I'm excited to meet you in person, man.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. We'll link up for sure.
Absolutely. Well, good luck. Stay safe. I know California is going through another COVID thing. Vegas is going to be masked up seriously, but
yeah, for sure.
We'll get through it. Appreciate you again, man. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah, appreciate it. We'll catch up.
All right. Take care, man.